What's up guys, Rob Sambles here, how you're doing? Welcome to another video. So today we are looking at another PhotoMechanic tip, and specifically the best way to bring images into PhotoMechanic to make it as easy as possible for you. Makes the images ready to go, called the right names, in the right places, fully set up, ready for you to do your bit and make your workflow as quick as possible. It's going to be a great video, let's go. So as always, before we get into the video itself, I'm going to ask you please just to take that 2 seconds, go hit the thumbs up button for me, hit the like on the video right there because it helps me out loads on the channel, helps with the YouTube algorithm-ness, helps more people see my video, and it just helps me out loads, and I would really appreciate it if you do me that favour. Don't forget to go check me out on social media. You can find me on Instagram, all three places. Most of you guys probably know them by now, but I'm going to put them right here on the screen, at Rob Sambles, at Rob Sambles Sport for my sports specific work, and at Scorchers Photog for loads of basketball stuff. You can also find me on Twitter at Rob Sambles Photo. So look, no messing around, let's get into PhotoMechanic and let's have a look. One quick thing, what I am going to be assuming as we go into this video is that you guys know how to lock images on your camera. Now if you've got a camera body like a 1DX, there's literally a button on the back with a key on the button where you press it and it locks the images. If you don't have one of those buttons, lots of cameras like my 7D II for example, and I know the 7D Mark I, and I know most of the 5D series, there is a rate button on the back, and if you go into your menu you can change that rate button so instead of being a rate button it becomes a lock button. So that way you can lock images just with one press of the button on the back of the camera. That's quite an important thing for this video, because when we get into PhotoMechanic, we're going to be telling it to just ingest locked photos rather than all your photos. So you might want to find out how to do that. Pause the video right here. And then once you've found out how to do it, come back to it and we will have a look at it. Right, let's get into PhotoMechanic. Let's go. Okay guys, so first things first, we have got our copy of PhotoMechanic open. Now what you want to do on this screen is to go and press Control G. That's what it is on PC anyway. You can always go into the start menu up here through File and then Ingest. It brings up the same box, but on PC if you just press Control G it jumps up to this screen in front of you. Now, the first thing you would want to do in this page is to fill in all of your IPTC stationery pad. We're going to assume that's already done because I did a whole other video on that. If you want to see that, go check that out. I'm going to link it at the end of this video and you'll learn how to do that. So at the moment, we're going to assume this is all filled in. So all we all want to do is to tick this box here that says to apply all the information from this into every photo that we ingest. The next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that all of those photos get renamed as they come into PhotoMechanic. And to do that, we go to this section here. So we're going to click this box, rename ingested photos as, and then down here we're going to decide what we want all those photos to be. Now, the photos that I'm going to be using, this is a photo from a Chelsea versus Man City FA Cup final. So I would call my photos RSP underscore, I'm going to put Chelsea, underscore V for versus, underscore Man City, underscore, I actually forget the date that this photo was from, but for the sake of this, let's pretend it was the 1st of June 2018. Then I put an underscore on the end. The reason I put an underscore on the end is because then I want the number of the photo to be here. Now the way we do that, down here, see where it says sequence? We tick sequence, and if I press in here, I can actually reset that so it goes back to number 1. Press OK. Now as I bring in all those photos into my PhotoMechanic, you can see the sequence, SEQN in brackets. Those photos will all be named this here and then 001, 002 and so on and so on and so on with all the photos. So the way I do that, as the photos are now ingested, they will all be named exactly what we want them to be called. which is perfect. Now, the other thing I want to think about here, what I don't want to happen is every time I take my memory card from my camera and put it into my card reader on my PC, I don't want it to re-ingest every single photo on that memory card, because otherwise I'm going to have 4 photos on the memory card, then 4 photos will get ingested into PhotoMechanic, and then I'll put it back in later and it will re-ingest those 4 photos and all the new ones I've taken. So to avoid that from happening, we're going to tick this box over here, which says incremental ingest, copy new photos only. By ticking that, it will scan the memory card and it will disregard any images that you have already scanned into your PhotoMechanic. So it stops your kind of file here from getting clogged up. Now, what else do I want to happen? I don't want to ingest every single photo from my memory card. The main reason we're doing that is because we want to work quickly. Let's say we're photographing a game, perhaps the Chelsea Man City game, for example, and we take a sequence of 8 photos. We might pick 1 photo from that sequence that we think is good. That's the one we want to work on. That's the one we want to send out. So by doing that, I will lock the photo in the camera, exactly like I talked about earlier in the video. Now, up here in this box, you can set this. Right now, we've got it set to copy locked and unlocked photos. That basically means it will copy all the photos, regardless of whether they are locked or not. If we set it to copy locked photos only, then it will only ingest the locked images. You can also do some stuff down here, copy raw and non-raw photos. You can just set it to copy only non-raw photos or only raw photos. Every photo I'm going to be shooting at a typical game is JPEG, so to be honest it doesn't really matter. So I just have it set to copy raw and non-raw because I want it to look at every photo. But we already know it's only going to ingest the locked photos in. Now for the example I'm actually using here, I don't think that photo is locked, so I'm actually going to set this to copy locked and unlocked, so it brings that photo in regardless. Next place we're going to look is up here in the top left. Now this is basically telling PhotoMechanic where you are ingesting the images from. You can ingest from folders, so perhaps folders that you've got on your desktop somewhere, or you can ingest from disks. Now if you've got a memory card plugged in, it will appear on this list, so I've currently got one of my memory cards plugged in. If I just take my memory card out of the card reader, and if I rescan, you can see it's not finding it anymore because there's no memory card plugged in. So in real life, we're basically pretending I've taken my memory card out of my camera. I've just plugged it into my card reader on my PC. At that point, if I press rescan, you see it finds it and it's up here, and that's kind of what would happen typically when you're doing it. Now, one step on from here, you can actually do like an auto ingest of disks. I'm not going to cover that in this video because that's maybe kind of the next step on, but for the sake of this, we're currently set up how we want. Now, the other thing we can do is we can decide where we want them to go. So whether we want them to go into a folder that we name, whether we want them to go into a folder with a date. So you can set here, look, you can set them to a folder with a name. You could choose what the name is. So you could call it perhaps the same thing as the image, for example. And what that would do is then when it brings the images into PhotoMechanic, it will automatically stick them in a folder that's called this, so it lines up with your images. Or you can just put them into a dated folder. For me, it really depends what type of event I'm shooting and how I want those images sorted afterwards. So just a quick recheck. We're only going to bring in new images. It's going to bring in locked photos, for our example here, unlocked as well. It's going to rename all the photos to this. And it's going to apply all of the information that we've already filled in our IPTC stationery pad. At that point there, we press ingest, and it's going to bring that photo in. It's currently reading the memory card, and the photos have come in. Now, for this example, I only locked this one photo on the memory card, but you can see it's brought it into PhotoMechanic. Now what you will also notice, looking on the bottom here, if I go into the information, it's filled in some of the information here from the stationery pad. It's also renamed the photo, so you can see the photo has been renamed there. And at this point, I'm good to go. I could start to edit this photo. I could start to crop the photo maybe. I can do whatever I want to do with it to fit in with the rest of my workflow. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful. I'm sure you did, especially those of you guys getting used to PhotoMechanic. That's a really important skill set to have, to be able to set it up like that, ready to go. I hope you guys found it useful. If you did, please do take that second. Go hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. And if you're new around here, think about subscribing. Loads more videos on my channel and loads more videos to come. Photography, sports photography, PhotoMechanic, all kinds of stuff on this channel. Take a second, go hit that subscribe button. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to see you guys on the next video.